As we entered the peak of summer, India is grappling with an intense heat wave, with temperatures reaching 45 degrees in many regions of the country. In northern states like Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh, the temperature has hit record breaking highs. In Rajasthan, the temperature has reached 47 degrees, making it one of the hottest states in the country. The situation is same in Delhi. Residents are experiencing sweltering heat. Experts has warned us that these situations will be more frequent in the future due to the global warming. India is one of the hottest countries in the world and is facing significant challenges in accepting these harsh realities. To understand the operations and challenges of the authorities, we have Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra, Director General from Indian Meteorological Department.
We have seen reports of rising temperature exceeding usual records. Temperature has crossed like 45 degrees. So, what are the factors contributing to this intensity of this heat wave?
To begin with, on 16th of May, heat wave conditions started for Rajasthan, and it gradually expanded up to central India and entire northwest India during next 1 week. And intensity also gradually increased and became severe heat wave conditions in some parts of northwest India and also in eastern India like Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha during last week. If you look at the large-scale features, this year is an El Nino year. The summer was El Nino year. Accordingly, the temperature was expected to be higher than the normal. During El Nino years, usually Northwest India or India as a whole experiences higher temperature. And once temperature is high, the probability of occurrence of heat wave also increases. So considering this phenomena and based on our climate forecast system models, we also predicted on the 1st March that this season will be hotter and frequency of heat wave days will be above normal. So third point was that there was some kind of anticyclonic circulation, or you can say high pressure area, at a height of about 3 kilometers to 5 kilometers over northwest and adjacent central India. Whenever you have got a high pressure area, it leads to clockwise movement of the air. And that clockwise movement of the air at the middle troposphere, that is height of 3 to 5 kilometers, leads to subsidence of air. That is movement of air towards the surface of the earth. And when earth moves towards the surface of the earth, air gets compressed. Once air gets compressed, so temperature increases.
For how long we can expect these conditions?
During 5th to 7th, one western disturbance is passing through the region. And during past few days, that is 2 to 3 days, temperature also decreased. But still isolated heat wave conditions are there. No severe heat wave condition is present at present. So because of this western disturbance, temperature will fall because some area will get rainfall or thunderstorms. So for next 5 days, we are not expecting any severe heat wave conditions. But after that, again, and there could be the rise in temperature. If you look at the forecast for the month of June, we have told that it will be above normal number of heat wave days in the month of June over northwest India and adjacent central India.
For people who are working outdoors, what measures can they take to protect themselves?
Yeah, there has been development of heat action plan by National Disaster Management Authority in association with India Meteorological Department and the concerned state governments and the city municipal corporations. So it brings out the various actions to be taken by the different agencies, like say power sector, surface transport sector, or the Indian Railways, or the National Highway Authorities, or the Minister of Labor, Minister of School and Education, drinking water sanitations. So everything is documented, and as for that, district level heat action plan is in place. In some cities also have the heat action plan, and there also the NGOs, the local NGOs are involved, doctors are also involved, hospitals are involved, Minister of Health is involved. So accordingly, action is taken by the institutional arrangement. And if you look at the most vulnerable population who are affected by heat wave conditions are the children and old-aged people and the people with comorbidity, that people with having the diseases, maybe say somebody may have the blood pressure, somebody may have the heart problems, or somebody have some allergy towards the pollutions. And so these people are expected to have more vulnerability towards the heat wave. So therefore, when there is a heat wave conditions, such vulnerable population should take care. They should not go out. They should keep themselves under the cool roof. Number one. Number two is that all populations, if you have to go outside, then you should drink water before going outside. You should take umbrella. You should be under the shades as far as possible. If it is required to work under the sun, then please take a break. Don't continuously work on the break, and go to the shades, drink water or juice, whatever it is, and so that your body is cool. Similarly, the schools also, it is suggested that they should change the timing. The labor forces also they should change the timing, especially between 12 to 3 o'clock or 11 to 3 o'clock. It becomes very hot. So we have to avoid that time to be exposed under the sun. After doing all these things, if someone feels some kind of discomfort, then he immediately should go and take rest under the cool shade. And if he is not recovering, he should go to the doctor. In addition to that, if someone is fainting, etc., immediately he should go to doctor and precautionary measures should be taken.
You have mentioned children, so their education must be affected from this. So how is the heat wave is impacting schools, and what measures are being recommended to ensure the safety of the students as well as the staff that is working within the schools?
Many cities and many states, what they do actually, they close the schools when heat wave is declared. And some states, what they do, they shift the timings. Say they go for the morning shift of the children, so that by 11 o'clock a school is closed. So there is no exposure by the children towards the heat. The next point is that there are sports activities, other activities which is outdoor. So that should be regulated so that indoor sports can be carried out. Outdoor sports under the sun should not be carried out. And of course, there should be provision for water for sufficient, because water demand increases for the children. And there should be a campaign with the children itself so that every child can go home and send the message for the precautionary measures by the entire family and the society.
The blistering heat wave is not only a health crisis, but also a major disruption to daily life. Schools in several states, including Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh, have adjusted their hours to protect students from the severe heat. Public transport systems are struggling to cope as well. In cities like Delhi and Mumbai, commuters are finding it increasingly difficult to travel in this sweltering heat. With air conditioning units struggling to provide relief, many daily wage laborers and street vendors who typically spend their long hours outdoors are facing dire conditions, forced to work in extreme temperatures to earn their livelihood. Urban areas are also feeling the heat with increased electricity consumption. This surge in demand is leading to frequent power outages. Water scarcity is another critical issue. With many regions experiencing a sharp decline in water levels, cities like Chennai and Bengaluru are implementing strict water rationing measures to manage the crisis. The tourism sector in traditionally cooler regions like Ooty and other hill stations has been hit hard. These areas, not equipped with ACs, are now less attractive due to soaring temperatures. Local businesses that rely on tourism are feeling the pinch. Meanwhile, the demand for air conditioners has surged. Major manufacturers like Voltas, Blue Star, and Whirlpool are experiencing substantial growth. This year, AC sales are expected to be increased by 25%, especially in Tier 3 towns. Stock prices of these companies producing ACs are on the rise. Shares of Blue Star, Voltas, and Hitachi have jumped by 5 to 15% in recent trading sessions. Not just air conditioners, but the demand for other cooling appliances like refrigerators is also climbing. This surge has boosted sales and stock market activity for companies in these sectors. India's peak power demand reached a record 250 gigawatts on 30th May 2024. Reflecting the increased electricity consumption driven by the heat wave.
This demand far exceeds previous years, showcasing the extensive use of cooling appliances. Delhi, in particular, has felt the heat. On 22nd May, the city's peak power demand hit a record breaking of 8,302 megawatts in the afternoon, the highest ever recorded. This surpassed the previous records of 7,695 megawatts set on June 29, 2022. The spike in demand was largely due to the widespread use of air conditioners. As the world continues to grapple with climate changes, the impact are being felt across industries and regions, reminding us of the urgent need for sustainable solutions.
Hospitals are on high alert, urging people to stay indoors, keep themselves hydrated, and avoid unnecessary travel during the peak hours. Hospitals have seen surge in heat stroke related cases. As we continue to navigate these extreme weather conditions, it's important for ourselves to protect. Getting deeper insights on this, we have Dr. Suranjit Chatterjee with us.
So, sir, with the increasing frequency and intensity of heat waves in India, what are the biggest health concerns for the population, particularly groups like children and elderly?
Really, the heat waves and the frequency and the intensity of them have increased in the last couple of years, and this year has been really bad. It has almost broken all records, and even cities which tended to be cool have become very warm these days. It's obviously an implication of the climate change that we are observing world over. Now, with more heat waves happening, obviously the vulnerable population, that is the children and the elderly, are exposed to, they cannot really control the heat mechanism that well. And that's how they are exposed to all these heat-related illnesses like heat cramps, rash, exhaustion, and the most serious of it is called the heat stroke. So as the heat waves go on increasing, the incidence of these illnesses might increase if we don't take care of how to manage all these heat-related illnesses. There are smaller things that have to be done to at least reduce the intensity and frequency of the diseases. Not that you can control it altogether, but at least you can try to reduce the severity of these illnesses.
What are some key public health measures that can be implemented to mitigate the risk of heat stroke and other heat-related illnesses during the heat waves?
See, mostly what happens is that people, it doesn't happen in people like me who's working in a hospital which has an air-conditioned atmosphere and all that. But unfortunately, people who are traveling, people who are basically like people who deliver food, people who deliver different materials, or who are working on the fields, care has to be taken for them. It has to be seen that we give them breaks in between and they have shaded areas across. So the city or the workplace should have shaded places where the person can take a break, sit in the shade for a while, hydrate himself or herself well, so that the intensity of these heat-related illnesses can be reduced and they can overcome all these problems. So as I said, we should give breaks to these people in between. We should have shaded places, a lot of shaded places in the place of work and in the city, and also availability of potable water. That is very important because it should not happen that you hydrate yourself, you're drinking water from a vendor which is infected, and it will cause different other infections like jaundice, typhoid, and all these water-related illnesses. So the three main things I would think is availability of shaded places, giving break to people in between, and availability of potable water is of utmost importance.
There are some challenges for the clean water in some areas. So can you advise on on effective hydration strategies for people during the heat wave, just beyond drinking the clean water?
See, water has to be good. Water has to be clean because if you don't have clean water, what can you drink? You cannot always drink juices, and especially the carbonated drinks and all that we have they actually dehydrate people. People drink cold drinks and all that, which actually dehydrate people. So it's important that potable water or clean water is provided. That is almost mandatory for the government to ensure that there is available in the city and in the country. It's very, because even if you're taking an oral rehydration solution, it will require water with it. Even if you're taking what we call in local terms shikanji, which has got basically lemon and some salt and sugar in it, that will also require water. So if you don't have water, how can you hydrate yourself? All these artificial drinks which are there actually dehydrate you. So it's absolutely mandatory that we have provisions to provide potable water, and that is very important whenever we are facing heat wave conditions in the country.
So how do heat waves impact people with pre-existing medical conditions, or what specific advice can you give to those individuals to stay safe during the heat wave?
See, as we discussed earlier, that extremes of age, obviously, like children and elderly, are more vulnerable to heat-related illnesses. It is also important that people with comorbidities, like people who have heart-related illnesses or liver-related diseases or kidney-related diseases, this general term that hydrate yourself well doesn't hold true for them. What happens is if they overhydrate themselves, the fluid might accumulate in their body and might cause breathlessness and swelling all over the body, which could in actually become a medical emergency rather than the heat wave or rather than the heat stroke or anything like that. So it is very important that they take treatment or guidance from the local treating physician who can guide them on the amount of water to be drunk and all. Because all these people who have comorbid conditions, they might be taking some medications which can also predispose you to heat-related illnesses and conditions. They might actually dehydrate you much more than diuretics and all that. They can get dehydrated much more easily. So it is important that people with comorbidities take guidance from the local treating physician and get treated accordingly and just not follow the norms that we are speaking on any channels or any print media.
Now let's hear from those who have been directly impacted by this heat wave. We are hitting the ground to get deeper insights from the people whose life has been impacted. How is the heat wave affecting your daily routines and what precautions are you taking?
Actually, it is very difficult for us to go out, even going to the markets, dropping children to their schools, picking up to khair, in fact, schools are off, but still dropping them to their classes, their जो भी daily routine की classes होती हैं वहाँ छोड़ना, वहाँ से लेके आना. It is very difficult, even though we are using our cars, but cars लेने का भी कोई फायदा नहीं, because close by it is very difficult to travel via car and come back.
Heat wave is concerned, it's affecting a bit more comparatively since last 2-3 years. This time the temperature has gone more than 50 plus in certain areas of India like Rajasthan, Delhi. Start avoiding going out in between 12 to 4. That is what best we can do.
As we can see, the temperatures are extremely high. It's soaring and scorching heat everywhere. So, and currently it's the academic break of our college, so we are placing for the internships. And it's very difficult to travel in this scorching heat. As a result of which, the basic precautions we are taking is traveling through cabs, hydrating ourselves, like having water.
It is actually affecting our daily life because we are working as a salesperson and every day we are walking in a street. So that heat waves are actually affecting us. So I'll request and urge everyone that we should take care of our climate because global warming is also affecting such issues. And precaution-wise, we are like taking intake of a lot of water. Like in after half an hour or so, we are having a glass of water and Nimbu lemon that can actually helping us.
We used to do different chorus activities being the females, but due to heat wave we are not able to do so, and we feel dizziness all over the day. Earlier we used to go to shopping for on a regular routine basis, but now we are unable in that case.
As the heat waves continues in India, the nation is facing significant challenges on multiple fronts, from surge in hospitals to disrupt in daily life. Authorities are working continuously to provide the immediate relief, but the urgency to develop long-term strategies to fight climate change is undeniable.